Good.
All
Thank you all
right.
for
Oh,
joining us.
Yeah,
Detroit,
thanks for having us.
Michigan. Yeah, do you guys want to go ahead and just dive in?
Sure.
Let's dive
Uh,
in.
Yeah.
Let's
all
dive
right, all
in.
right.
First and foremost, thank you guys for joining us yet another amazing collaboration. We've really been looking forward to it. So, first and foremost, happy Earth Month to everyone tuning in. And of course, to Jason and Ted. We can't thank you guys enough. We know your time is very valuable. So, yeah, let's just dive in. For those of you who don't know, I'm Kimberly Loomis. I'm the community coordinator for the Green Beauty community. And this other gentleman is Mr. Daniel. He is our CEO and founder of the Green Beauty. But today is about, joining with these very two handsome
Oh,
gentlemen, Mr. Ted Gibson and Mr. Jason Backe. How are you guys doing? How
great.
is your Earth Day going so far out in
Amazing.
West Coast?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had a chance to chat with you guys a couple weeks ago at ABS in Chicago about all things Earth Month, sustainable, clean, green, and you guys really jumped on board and supported the Green Beauty Foundation as well as the Green Pledge. So for those of you who don't know what this is, Daniel, can you kind of let people know who the Green Beauty community is and what the Green Pledge is?
Okay, thank you for that, Kim. Well, very briefly, the Green Beauty community is kind of like our clubhouse for everything sustainable, green in the beauty industry. We wanted to create a place where we can all get together, no matter where you are in your sustainable journey. If you're light green, if you're dark green, you have a place to come on in. We can all discuss topics, learn from each other, and just exchange greetings and become friends. So that's what the Green Beauty community is. And so the Green Pledge is kind of our way of asking the beauty industry to set the intention that they want to at least learn more, that they want to be engaged, and that they want to find out the answers to how we can make our industry more sustainable and be the leaders that we have always been in business. So that's basically it. You can go to our website. There's a 2-minute video you watch. You can answer 5 affirmations. Basically, you're affirming that you're going to learn more, that you're going to strive to educate people around you, that you're going to be mindful of your energy and your water waste. And then we give you a certificate that you can display that kind of holds you to your affirmation. You can share it with your clients and your staff. And we also have a marketing kit as well that we have a bunch of goodies from a lot of our partners in. So that's what the Green Beauty community is, and that's what the Green Pledge is.
That's great.
I had a really good conversation a couple weeks ago with Ted and Jason, and we really touched on what it meant to kind of set that intention. And I know they're really big into rituals, and an intention is a ritual. An intention is what you kind of muster from your desires to bring into reality. And so I'm really interested and I'm blessed that they are allowing us to have this conversation publicly, because I think it's a really good opportunity to set the intention that we're going to, for the next year, learn more about sustainability.
I love it.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
thanks for
So
having me.
so can you guys please do a light introduction to the people that may not know who you amazing humans are, the man, the myth, the legends, both Ted and Jason. Can you tell our viewers who you are and kind of a little bit about your guys' self?
Go ahead, Baki.
Am I going first? Okay.
You're going first.
My name is Jason Backe. I have been a hairdresser for, I think I went to beauty school 31 years ago, so a long time. In that time, I have owned 4 salons in 4 states. We're working on our 3rd product line right now. I've owned commission salons. I've owned chair rental salon. And now, actually, I am renting a chair in someone else's salon. So I've learned all kinds of different things about this industry and this business. I kind of built my career outside of being behind the chair as an ambassador. I was the hair color brand ambassador for L'Oreal Professionnel for a while, like a decade. I worked for Clairol, so I know the consumer side of hair color as well. And so, yeah, I've had my fingers in a whole bunch of different things, and I'm excited about this new project that we're doing. I'm excited to be talking about Earth Month with you guys, and I'm excited to introduce my husband and partner in all things Ted Gibson, Ted Gibson.
Hi. Thanks, Jason. That's a
And
nice introduction. You guys, I am super excited about being here, especially today on Earth Day, for one. And of course, it is Earth Month. But, I have been thinking about this for a really long time. My background comes from a company that was the first company that had plants in them and was legendary company to really start to focus in our industry about I would say plant science. And I believe that if we can think about sustainability, if we can think about taking care of our planet in a way that you don't feel like that you have to do it every single second, I think it's much better. Like it's very intimidating for me. It's like saying that I'm going to be vegan when I love a steak every now and then. So I think that what we talked about a lot was about what you can do in your salon to make it so that you can be sustainable and be mindful of the things that are really important about helping to save the earth. And I think that that's what was really resonating with us, that we don't have to go all the way to the right and we don't have to go all the way left in order to make a huge difference, that we can stay somewhere in the between and work back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And, Jason and I have really thought about what's important for us and that idea of everything, and those three R's and will never ever go away: the recycle, the reuse, and the what's the other R? I forgot.
reduce.
Thank you very much.
Reduce.
Reduce.
So if you can just keep it as simple as that, I think that that's what really makes it such a huge difference. I know it does for me. So I don't get intimidated and overwhelmed and feel like that maybe I'm not doing anything when I am doing something, which is important.
Yeah, and we totally agree. We always talk about how one step forward, no matter how small it is still a step in the right direction. And that's something that here at the GBC we really like kind of push towards, because everyone's clean, green, and sustainable journey is different, right? We're all on different levels of this journey, and we're all, things impact us differently, and we look at things differently. But as long as we're moving together as one, as an industry and as beauty pros, right?
Yeah.
Then we're moving in the right direction. So, with that being said,
Yes.
one thing we really, really enjoyed chatting about celebrating Earth Month was this launch, this amazing shroom boom of
The
what is
shroom
happening.
boom.
This shroom boom, and Mr. Fun Guy down there, Jason, like you guys are. I wanted to introduce you as the fun guy, because to me, Jason, you will always be the fun guy. So
Well, thank you.
can you guys tell us a little bit about what the Shroom Boom is and what Ted Gibson's beauty wellness science is?
Well, we started this project officially just over a year ago when we decided that we wanted to create a new lifestyle brand: hair care, skin care, body care, and ingestibles, because we, over the years, have seen so many different sides of beauty. And I have sort of discovered that I was really focusing a lot on sort of a more superficial beauty, um, knowing that looking good on the outside makes you feel good. But now we're also knowing that feeling good on the inside helps you look good on the outside. So we started this brand with the intention of filling a void, bringing something to our industry that is thought provoking, that is forward thinking, that is innovative, that is sexy and fashionable, and all of those things combined, as sustainable as we can be, and as natural and healthful as we can be. So, like Ted said, we're not vegan, we're not hardcore environmentalists, but we are conscious consumers, and I think that our targeted audience are also conscious consumers. And I use the word consumer, broadly. I think as I've learned more and more and more, I'm consuming less and less and less. And the things that I'm choosing to consume are more friendly to our planet, to our ecosystems, to our health, to our wellness. And so that's kind of like where we started. And Ted has, stories about where we started too and why we started. So I'll just let him talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. I think that the thing about being in business together and being in business with someone that you're in a relationship with, I can say is one of the most rewarding things in my life, because I believe that Jason knows things differently than I do, and I know things differently than he does. And when we decided that we wanted to go down this route, and I would say sustainable, because we're as sustainable as possible when it comes to when we launch hair care, skincare, and body care. But what we decided to do is to launch an ingestible first. And that ingestible is 100% vegan, 100, no GMO, and 100% organic. And the reason why we decided we wanted to launch Ascension is because, as Jason was saying, about inside outside beauty, which is really, really, really important for all of us at this moment. And to really think about how we're taking care of ourselves. And about a decade ago, my mother was diagnosed with dementia. And when she was diagnosed with dementia, we were trying to figure out what we could do for her. And, we don't know if dementia is hereditary, but we're seeing it more common and common and common. So we wanted to figure out how we could help her, and then also how we could help ourselves and the people that we love, which is our beauty industry. Is how can we launch something that has the idea of really taking care of ourselves and the wellness part of it and the well-being part of it. So that's how really Ted Gibson Beauty Wellness Science was born, because we wanted to make a huge difference in the industry. And we found that adaptogenic mushrooms are the key to a long life, longevity, to immortality, to hair, skin, body health, mind health. They build neural pathways back into the brain that really helps with brain fog. They help with skin in moisturizing and bringing collagen back to the skin. They help the cuticle and the hair. I also just found out just a couple of weeks ago that you can possibly lose some belly fat if you use Ascension, because of the mushrooms that are in it. And I think that that's what's really incredible about this line, is that we're really thinking about it differently. And, when I had the opportunity to work with Horst Rechelbacher, who is, who I try to channel every single day because he was so incredible to me. And he talked to me a long, long, long time ago about creating, just this is our third line, as Jason said, and creating product that was really sustainable and that really, really was really important. And I didn't get the message, you guys. I didn't really understand exactly what he was talking about. Even working with him for a decade, I still didn't really understand. But now I really do understand. And I think we as human beings, we grow, we want to grow, we want to be better, and I'm better. And I can say I'm better because I have been taking medicinal mushrooms for about a year. And it has helped my rituals in the respect of my morning practice, which is meditation, reading, and writing, to help sure that my inside is good, my mind is good, and my spirit is good. Because without those three things being really good, you're not in a great state. So I'm very, very proud of this line. I'm very proud to have taken the Green Pledge, and I'm so glad that we're working in the right way with you guys. That is going to make a huge difference, not only for me, but also for my community and my industry.
Yeah.
Well, thank you
I
for that.
so much information on that, Ted and Jason. So thank you for sharing it. And thank you for sharing your transparency journey about your mom. You shared that with us in Chicago, and it was so heart touching and
Uh,
so
thank
authentic, and you could see that this comes from such a good place of not only being clean and green and sustainable, but like the connection of why, of your why. One thing Daniel and I chatted about was, in Chicago you had these amazing, elaborate, incredible, like corsages that was like these work of art, but both of you had scents from your collection. Can you lightly touch a little bit on that? I Because for the
Sure.
people at home that missed out, like, they are like high in luxe, like just the most beautiful scents ever. So can you
Thank
kind of
you.
Thank
touch base
you.
on those a
So
little bit?
nice. Yeah. Jason, you want to talk about that?
Sure. We have a friend who started his whole career is making mascots for universities and colleges and costumes for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And so Ted messaged him and said, "Hey, we need some giant mushroom corsages that can spray out a fragrance." And just a side note, we're going to be at IBS Vegas, teaching a master class, a hands-on workshop, doing some demos, having some wellness experiences. So if you're curious about what's happening with Ted Gibson Beauty Wellness Science, come and see us at IBS Las Vegas, because we're going to have a lot of good information to share. When we decided that we were going to do this line, we knew that we wanted the fragrances to be essential oils. So we're combining the plant and fungi kingdoms there. And we have a really good friend who she helped to coordinate a whole bunch of custom fragrances through essential oils, and she offered to help us with the fragrances. And so one of them that you smelled was very bright citrus, grapefruit, bergamot, that sort of scent. And we thought that would be something really great to experience in the shower, to start your day having that really bright, fresh, crispy smell. And then the other one is a little bit more spicy. There's clove and cinnamon, and it's borderline between luxury fragrance and medicinal.
And an
So when it's applied to the,
aphrodisiac. Don't forget that part.
it's very sexy.
Very,
So
very.
that's kind of how we got inspired to do that. We love beautiful fragrances, and as a mission, part of our mission to be as sustainable as we can. I think one of the things that I learned from you guys is like sustainability is a journey. It's not something that is overnight, and there's always something new to learn. I see this person's question here about, how we're so used to like status has sort of become like having things that we use once and throw away. I don't know about that, but I think that, there's a lot to be learned about. And I think you guys are the ones that were talking about, how there's this movement to like have everything put in glass instead of plastic. But glass comes from sand comes from beaches. So are we depleting that resource to be more sustainable with glass? Or is it smarter to use post-consumer plastic? Like we've got all of this plastic floating around in the oceans, and we're still consuming so much plastic, so much plastic, so much plastic. Is it more sustainable to like repurpose that plastic for something else? There's so many things to think about in the supply chain that end up in our hands when we buy them at the store. And that's where being a conscious consumer is important. I don't know, I just went off on this long tangent that started off with fragrance, but
Well, no, that was exactly it.
there's just things that we're learning all of the time, and we're not going to be perfect overnight, and it's kind of a tricky thing to come out of the gate and say that we're sustainable, because we're trying to be sustainable, and there are things that 5 years from now, we might look back and be like, you know what, maybe that wasn't the best decision, and we need to reconsider this, because we're still learning and we're still trying things, and we need to know what our consumers want, and we need to educate our consumers. That's one of the biggest things about fungi. Like we grew up in a culture where mushrooms sort of signify death and decay, where so many other cultures around the world look at fungi as rebirth and new life.
Yes.
So it's sort of like there's so much opportunity to learn, and we're really just at the tip of the iceberg about the power of adaptogenic mushrooms and how they can help us in so many different ways, from, like Ted said, building new neural pathways to brain health to beautiful skin, healthy scalp, gorgeous hair, all of the external beauty things and the internal beauty things. So there's just a lot, and I just keep wanting to share more and more and more. It's so fun, and I'm so grateful for you guys for even bringing, like, I feel like I'm a pretty aware guy, but just in the little time that I've been affiliated with you all, I've learned so much about this sustainability and the goal of being sustainable.
Well, one thing that came out of our conversation that I really took from it, and I really want to share is, being authentic about your journey is the first start. telling the story of where you are and where you want to be and what you're working towards getting there, and how you're identifying these places where you can be more sustainable and you're taking the steps to get there. We have to start off, there's no such thing as sustainable. I mean,
Yeah.
commerce is not sustainable, not commerce in our culture.
Mm-hmm.
So we just have to let that myth die, and we have to just work towards being better. And we shouldn't let perfection be the enemy of progress. We have to get somewhere, and it's going to take small incremental steps by people who set the intention to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I really love about what you guys are doing is you have a very interesting space you're in where you can take your experience in the beauty industry and your new endeavor, and you kind of create this space where it's not just operational sustainability when you talk about packaging and plastics and stuff, but then you're also introducing sustainability when it comes to like your health and your wellness and all the things that we eventually learn as we live through life
Mm-hmm.
that you need to take into an account.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't start out taking those things into an account, and you being able to use your platform to share that is going to bring more and more people into this space. And that's why I'm really excited about you guys,
Oh,
you know,
thank you.
becoming part of the
Thank
community.
Thank you.
you.
I
Thank you.
appreciate that. And Daniel, what you just said is so valuable and so important, because I believe that, our industry, where a hairdresser, a makeup artist, a nail person, a barber, a massage therapist, we're on our feet for hours and hours and hours, and we're giving and giving and giving. And we don't necessarily have time to replenish that giving that we just gave for 15 hours and 15 clients in a chair. We're very, very thoughtful about that. And as you said, with the experience that we've had of being, hairdressers for over 30 years, we know the importance of the person who's 25 years old and they're in their first salon and they are working and they're making money and they're feeling good about their career. What is going to happen in 10 years when you have done that kind of career in 10 years? And what are the things that are going to help sustain you? Meditation and taking fungi and taking mushrooms, medicinal mushrooms, guys, not like
That's a different conversation for a
that's a whole
different day.
different conversation.
Yeah.
But, taking those things and being mindful of your rituals and making sure that your mind is good and that your body is good. And yeah, you exercise, you do all those things that we've heard all the time, but there are other things that you can do that are going to help to be sustainable. So thank you for bringing that up. We appreciate that.
Of course, you got to sustain yourself in order to try to sustain your environment. And we all know the pitfalls or the occupational hazards of being in this
Yeah.
industry. You don't eat, you stand up. There's a lot of alcohol places.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't really take care of ourselves the best way. And so for you guys to stand up and use your light to shine on this issue, I think is important. And I think it speaks to a holistic view of sustainability. And like I said, I'm thankful that you guys allowed me in your circle. So thank you.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
Yeah, I truly believe that we are in a state of the world where we need to take care of ourselves and we need to take care of our families and we need to take care of our communities. We need to, and that's how we do that, is by having those goals of sustainability and having those goals of really making sure that we have a community. So I'm so glad that you guys have put this really incredible community together where like-minded people can come and really have goals for themselves and have goals for their salons and have goals for their spas. I think that that's what's really going to help us get to the next level of I don't want to say environmentalism, because I think that that can be such a tricky word and can be a trigger word for some people, because I would say, yes, I'm environmentalist because I do the things necessary to help sustain my life. Absolutely. But it can be a little tricky because it can be where people think if you're an environmentalist, you have to be, all of these things, all these check marks, and you don't have to be all of those check marks. If you have one or two of those check marks, I think you've done a great job. And thank you for sharing that with us, because we feel
Oh, no problem. I'm gonna be really quick. I'm gonna try to make it quick, but this is what the problem is. Everyone, like, there's a level of environmentalism where they all talk to each other and they send each other their impact reports and white papers, and it's just kind of like the conversation doesn't really trickle down. And what we need is people like us who are just learning but are willing to share and willing to have passion to adopt and learn. And I think that we need to remove that stigma that if you're not doing it perfectly, then you just shouldn't start, because that's going to stop everyone from starting. And so, just speaking to what you said, you're an amateur environmentalist at the least,
Thank
so
you.
you can take that.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
All right, well,
We all
sorry.
can't be experts in everything, that's for sure.
No,
Yeah,
no.
I'm learning. When I learn, I put it out.
I'm
When I
leaning on
learn, I
y'all.
make a video. When I learn, I make a blog.
Yeah, I'm learning. I'm leaning on you guys. Yes, thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
We
Sorry,
appreciate
Kim.
you guys like actually showing up, being
sure.
transparent, walking the walk and talking the talk, and really like holding the industry, right? Wellness, beauty accountable for everything. No, and again, one step forward is still a step forward, no matter how small it is.
Yeah.
So we as consumers and also beauty pros can't thank you guys enough on the other end of it, right? For taking care of us and giving us options to also help support us both in the chair and out of from behind the chair. Really
Yes.
quick, how can people find it? Tell us how we can get in touch with you guys, how we can get onto this whole shroom boom.
Yeah.
Follow us here. I'm an okay Instagram poster. Ted's amazing. So you can find everything that you want to find on Instagram from Ted and me. Um, Come to IBS Vegas. We'll be doing the trade show circuit starting again next year. We want to hit as many trade shows as we can to get our industry excited about this shroom boom. And just reach out, Right now we have our Ascension, which is our daily supplement. You can mix it into, it's a powder that is lion's mane, reishi, chaga, tremella, and a rare blue-green algae. And that combination of algae and fungi is really all about overall wellness, well-being, and feeling better. It's hard to describe the difference in focus and clarity a year after taking adaptogenic mushrooms. It's very subtle, but at the same time, it's really incredible. I'm anxious for more people to experience this sort of awakeness. Um, and we just opened it up for pre-order. So you can go to our website, tedgibson.com. You can look at our merch section and get a Ted Gibson dad hat like Ted's wearing. We also have T-shirts. We'll have more merch coming. But you can also pre-order Ascension, and we'll be shipping Ascension in probably June. We're finalizing the details of the packaging right now. And as soon as that's approved, then we'll move forward with filling and shipping. So it's very exciting. It's got a. Oh, go ahead, Ted.
Well, just for those of you who've already pre-ordered, I just want to say thank you for your pre-order, number one. And for the other, the reason why it's taking so long is because it was really important for us to do all of the tests, all the strenuous tests, to make sure that it is really, really, really good. And what those tests are, micro, what are they, Jason? Micro something or other. They're like the test for USDA organic. They're the test for the FDA. I mean, we went right all the way in just to make sure that there were no metals and no mold. I mean, we've done a really, really strenuous thing on this, because for anybody out there that's launched an ingestible before, or something you have to put in your mouth, it can be something else, especially when it's not just food, because it's really not just food, it's more than just food. So we've done a really great job of that. So that's the reason why it's taken so long, but it'll be for you in June, and it's going to change your life like it's changed mine, for sure.
Well, we are
Yeah.
excited to all experience this shroom boom. And thank you guys so much for your time today and for joining the Green Beauty community and stepping up and taking the Green Pledge to help support Earth Day and Earth Month, because we should be celebrating it every day, right?
Yeah.
Every day should be
Yeah.
Earth Day,
Yeah.
not just
Yeah.
one day a year.
For
So thank you
sure.
Thank
guys
you.
so much for your love, your energy, your
Aw,
light, and
thank
just
you.
being the most incredible humans in general. And we're looking forward to working and clapping with all the things with you guys in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank
Likewise.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. We
Tell
appreciate
Dr.
your
J I
time,
said
and
hello. I see in the comments something about our old doctor in New York City. Tell Dr. J hello.
Hey, Dr. J.
hey, Dr. J. All right. Well,
All right, love you
um,
guys.
I guess that's it. Thank you for
Thank you.
joining.
Oh, what a pleasure.
Like the late great Russell Simmons, good night and God bless, I guess. But thank
Right.
you for joining us.
Thank you,
Bye, lovies.
guys.
Happy Earth
All
Happy
right.
Earth
Day.
Day.
All right. Bye.
Thank you. Happy Earth
Bye.
Day.